Okay, so the Audit Tuesday topic today is data security and identity governance. For this very important topic, we have risk and board expert and president of Yastis, Michael Andrews. Hi, Michael.
Hey Ashley, how you doing today? Thanks for having
Good.
me. Of
Of course. Thank you for being here.
course.
So, first, can you tell the audience a little bit about yourself and basis of your company, Yastis, and what it provides for cybersecurity and governance?
Absolutely. My background for about 20 years was primarily in the Department of Defense doing cybersecurity, IT, telecommunications, both as a military member and as a civilian and a contractor. So every role. Yastis, I started in 2019, went full time at it in 2020. We're a cybersecurity consulting company here in Las Vegas that works with small to medium sized businesses throughout the United States. Just any business that has sensitive data that needs to protect it.
So, your background gives you a special view on data security and the threats today against data, both theft and ransomware, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we focus on reducing risk while also increasing compliance. And as part of that, we deal with the data security and a big scare in that area for a lot of companies is ransomware, as you're probably familiar with, since it can lock companies out. A lot of times the threat actor will exfiltrate, meaning take the data off the system and hold it hostage. So it's a really scary situation for businesses, and it's one of the top reasons why it's so important for companies of all sizes to protect their sensitive data.
So, in your work with enterprises, do you see where enterprise identity practices and especially sloppy identity practices put the enterprise data at risk?
Absolutely, Ashley. That's a major part of it. In the identity area, some of the things that we see is just people having way too much access to the systems. Not everyone needs to have access to all the segments of your system. Say a company has 5 or 10 systems. You don't need too many admins. You want to keep that kind of minimal. More than one. But what we're also seeing is that people switch roles. They often don't remove the privileges from their former role. So people tend to get more and more over time. That should be reviewed every so often, periodically, as part of the standard audit checks, but it often doesn't. So sometimes you'll even see people leave the company completely, and then you'll look at the identity list, and you'll see that people that left a year or two ago are still have their accounts in there. And then other times you might even see company executives who aren't even in IT have privileged access just because they're the leaders and they want to be able to make the changes they want quickly. So all of that does increase risk.
So, in a recent release by the JRTF, the Joint Ransomware Task Force, so they said in the Stop Ransomware Guide, one of the key defenses against ransomware is the practice of least privilege. So, what does that mean exactly?
It's very important. And just a little cliffhanger here with Garrett being the CEO of UATest. I have a nickname for him that I'm gonna say it at the end, and it's pretty complimentary, so I think he'll like it. But for the audience, stay here because
Sure,
we're
you
gonna.
don't have my elementary school nicknames. I appreciate that.
No, it's a good one. You can use it because someone else gave it to you. You didn't give it to yourself, so it's
Okay.
okay
Yeah.
if you want to
Oh,
use it. But
I love it.
the principle of least privilege, it essentially says that you only give employees the access that they need to do their job from day to day, and nothing more than that. You don't want to give unlimited access and let employees have a buffet of access to choose from. You want to just put the employees into the roles functionally aligned. Like you could have a human resources group, the IT group, you have your admin group, and then as long as they can do their job, that's enough. So typically when I go in and talk about least privilege, just look at what they currently have, and then if it can be made to be decreased, then we try to do that.
And what are the mechanisms and practices enterprises should conduct to enforce the principle of least privilege?
For that, I would say it takes a mix of policy as well as technical controls. Some good ways to do that I find are at the first second. So, say you have a company of 100 people, and you have a manager that submits an access request form to the IT desk for a given employee. The way I typically recommend it is at that moment to have an area on the form where where you can list the specific access they need. And then it's also important for the IT desk to challenge anything that doesn't look normal on that request form. If someone in HR, the HR manager, is saying their employees need access to the back end database and they don't, kick back on that. It's okay to challenge that, because after all, what's important is having good security, and you can do that by having least privilege. And there are some different tools out there that help with the reviews, but technical tools with UATest being one of the main ones. And it's important to make use of that, especially when it's a bigger company and it's a little too time consuming for an admin to take the time to go one by one, seeing who has what access and go into their manager and verifying it's still valid or not.
Garrett, can you talk a little bit about UATest and how we can help?
Yeah, no, exactly. So I like the way Michael set this up. Companies are at risk, both at missing their compliance and their data is at risk by not practicing the principle of least privilege. What we do is automate the process of reviewing the access, reviewing your entitlements. And we have three ways of doing that. We have static audit reviews, where you review what occurred in the past, what the current entitlements are. That's I call it static. We have triggers that change, that say, hold it, this admin group changed, something changed, someone should attest to it immediately. That's the second. And the third level, we actually have AI. We have AI scores that you can help you identify which users are overprivileged. So that's what we're doing on the principle of least privilege.
Perfect. So Michael, your enterprise can conduct the services right around UATest, right?
Absolutely. Already work in these areas, and I see a lot of benefit to the UATest software. As someone that's previously worked in a very large enterprise and had the need to do short notice review of user and admin privileges in a short period of time, without a tool like UATest, it can be a real challenge. Very time consuming. I've seen people lined up down the block to get their people permitted to keep their privileges or get different privileges based on a short notice suspense. And I see UATest solving a lot of that. So I've been excited to test it out, and I'm excited to continue that process and get better at utilizing it for the benefit of customers in the future.
Awesome. Can you tell the audience how they can reach you?
I'm on LinkedIn, Michael Andrews, last name Andrewes. You could also find the company at yastis.com, or on Twitter if you just search for Yastis, or LinkedIn the same, as well as Facebook and Instagram. And we look forward to continue to collaborate with you in the future. And if anyone else has a way that we can assist, feel free to reach out anytime.
Perfect. And then us at UATest, you can reach us at info@uatest.com, and we'll execute on your identity governance for data security as well as compliance needs. Thank you so much, Michael, for being here. We really appreciate it.
Oh, can I tell you the nickname for Garrett?
Oh, yes, please
Sure.
do.
Absolutely.
Okay. Garrett is the principal of least privilege, like school.
That's the only time I was a substitute teacher in Austin when they never thought of making me principal, but I appreciate that. There you go.
All right.
I love it.
Pleasure to meet with you all today. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here.
All right. Take